What's going on? This is Big G from RYDIN and welcome to another episode of Testing Rides. Today, I'm going to be testing out the 2018 Toyota Camry SE. Welcome to the 2018 Toyota Camry. Now in its 8th generation, this Toyota Camry is bigger and better and more efficient than ever. So the 2018 Toyota Camry is an all-new generation Camry. So they improved everything, added some new equipment, added some new features, and just refined the car. So what is the engine in this car? So Toyota finally direct injected the 2.5 liter inline 4-cylinder, and now it makes 201 horsepower and 184 foot-pounds of torque. This car weighs about 3,300 pounds and now has an 8-speed transmission, and because of the average weight and the 8-speed transmission, this vehicle now gets 28 in the city and 39 out on the highway. But from my road trip that I took yesterday on the highway, I averaged 42 miles to the gallon, which is pretty excellent. In 2018, what have they added to the Camry? So they have 4 trims of the Camry now. They have the LE, SE, XLE, and the XSE. So all those 4 models all have different things. So the SE is the volume seller Camry. It's the Camry that I'm driving today. That it looks the best, it drives the best. And then you have the LE, that's kind of the more basic car, so it has a lot more softer ride. It's just more of your average Toyota Camry. The XLE is the semi-luxury one that comes with the leather seats and all that good stuff on there. And then the XSE is the better version of the car that I'm driving now, because it has the same styling of this SE that I'm driving now, but it has the V6, has the panoramic sunroof, and it gets a bunch of stuff like that. And also can come with a red interior. A red interior to Camry, wow, that's definitely different. I do like it though. They brought out their inner Lexus. This is the basic SE model. What comes standard in this car? So in this car you get backup camera, of course, you get Bluetooth, USB, you get your basics like that. But what you get now as standard equipment in the 2018 Camry, you get radar cruise, you get the lane departure warning system, you get automatic high beams, you get a lot of new safety equipment that was optional in the previous Camry, and it's nice that Camry starting to pack in a lot of that safety equipment as standard. And actually, I think from now forward, a lot of the Toyota products are going to come with that, because I'm pretty sure the 2017 Toyota Corolla started coming with some of that stuff too. So for all this goodness, good lookingness on this Camry, how much does this one cost? So this Camry, as it sits, is about $26,000, which is very, very good considering the equipment that you get in this car. But if you want sunroof and push button starter, you just add a package on there, and that'll cost you $28,000. And if you want any other options from there, you're gonna have to move on to a different trim. Let's take a look at the inside of the Toyota Camry. You join me on the inside of the 2018 Toyota Camry, and what I gotta admit, this is so much different and better than the previous generation Camry. There's a lot more. This is the relatively base car, and a lot of the materials in this car are really nice. Like up here where you rest your arm is nice and soft. The dash is really soft. The steering wheel feels nice and quality. It has it's decently chunky. Has some nice feel to it. Has some nice quality leather on it. Has this nice stitching over here on the side that kind of transfers throughout the whole entire cabin, that picks up all over there. You have this fake silver carbon fiber type material, and for the most part the interior is laid out really well in this car. You got a nice decent sized screen here in the center. There's actual buttons, there's knobs. That's perfect. I love when the cars still have knobs instead of the haptic feedback type crap. I like the knobs. Toyota did a great job. Only complaint I got to say about the infotainment system is that there's no Apple CarPlay or Android Auto capability. So basically, even though it's the all-new Camry, it's still a little bit behind on the technology aspect. All right, so here in the center, everything is laid out pretty clear. You got a lot more options here in the center menu. You got a lot more options. It's a nice color display that lights up really well, and it just looks pretty good. One thing that this car comes standard with that I really like, that I got to experience it, I took a little road trip yesterday, is this car comes standard with radar cruise control. And that's probably one of the best features that this car has, honestly. Here in the center, it's really simple. You just got your shifter, and that's it. You don't have any buttons, any switches, or nothing like that. Got some nice big cup holders, fit some nice big large Starbucks coffees. You got to do that. And you got a nice little storage area right here, right in front of the shifter. You got your USB ports and your cigarette lighter charger thing there. But this car does not come standard with push button start. As you can see, the key is right there in the ignition. And then also this car on the steering wheel has some really nice paddle shifters. They are plastic, but they do feel good, and they are pretty responsive. You'll check that out when we get out on the driving portion of the video. The seats in this car are really nice. It's like a leatherette / cloth material, and it's really nice. It looks really good. So you have this nice material here, these straps across the seat there that feel really nice, and then you got the leatherette on the outside, and it feels really good. And then you got this little center thing in the middle there, just to make it kind of look a little bit more sporty. And as you can see, the back seats has it too. And these seats are way improved over the previous seats. They have a nice shape to them. They actually remind me a little bit of the seats that you find in the BRZ / Toyota 86. Like, they're not exactly that small, but they're like the same type of shape. And there's lots of legroom in this car. In this car, there's lots of space for a big man like myself. You know, I'm over 6 feet tall and over 300 pounds. And as you can see here, there's plenty of room here. I got lots of room under the steering wheel, so I can bring my leg up and down here. And I can turn the steering wheel without getting in the way of the thighs. And there's plenty of room between the gut and the steering wheel. So this car is definitely big man approved. And as you can see, plenty of headroom. But this car does come optional with the panoramic sunroof, and honestly, I think it does need it. Here I am in the backseat of the Camry, and there's a lot of space back here too. There's decent headroom, because think about it, the Camry's rear end is a lot more sloped and a lot more sleek than it was before. They kind of cut here in the headrest where people's heads are gonna go, and it gives just a little bit more headroom when you're sitting in all 4 seats in this car. So I touch a little bit, but not a whole lot. The back seat is really roomy here. Like my feet go under the seats, and looks like I could be comfortable back here for a while. This is a little bit closer than where I sit. This is kind of where the normal person sits when they drive this car, and there's plenty of space back here. And the back seat keeps all the same quality as the front seats. I mean, since this is a lower model, it doesn't come with like the USB ports and all that stuff there. That's just the storage there for the back seat. And also, there's 4 automatic up and down windows. All right, let's take a look at the trunk. All right, for a 2018 Camry, this trunk is a lot more roomier than it used to be. Like, there is plenty of space back here. As you can see, you probably can fit about two big luggages and also a couple carry-on bags back here, because you could just slide the big ones in there, and then you can throw stuff on the sides here. It's definitely about this trunk is definitely a little bit above average for all the other mid-size sedans, and I'm really glad that Camry is starting to kind of separate themselves from the other mid-size cars. All right, let's take this car out and see how it drives. All right, we're back. So how does the 2018 Toyota Camry drive? Well, the 2018 Camry drives extremely well. It's so much different and better than the previous generations. I can actually say this 2018 Camry SE actually handles sporty. It has some, so the suspension is very comfortable, but it's semi-sporty suspension. So you can take turns pretty quickly. This car is pretty buttoned down. This car is lower and wider than it was before. Four-quarter independent suspension, so it rides really nice and handles really nice. The engine with the 200 horsepower and the 8-speed transmission, this car actually feels kind of quick here. Like, I think this car, they said this car does 0 to 60 in around 8 seconds, which feels about right. And I think the last Camry did 0 to 60 in 8.5, 9 seconds, so it's a big improvement over the previous one. The steering is very communicative for a Toyota Camry. I'm not saying just, it's very communicative. Like, you kind of have a slight idea of what the front wheels are doing. And I mean, Camrys haven't had that before. And I'll show you a clip here. And when you're driving this hard, driving this sporty, this car actually downshifts when you pull the paddles. The paddles aren't just a novelty item like it was in the previous body style. They actually work. And the transmission's actually pretty quick shifting when you want to drive it hard and have a little bit of fun. But when you're just cruising along, just throw it in automatic, turn on that eco mode, 8-speed transmission, and this thing is buttery smooth. You don't even know to really shifting gears. You just go along about its business, comfortable, quiet, refined. And I do gotta say, this car has very good visibility. Like, even though it really has the sloped rear end and has really good styling now, this Camry remains, it's kept this Camryness. It's still a practical car. It's still gonna be a reliable car. It's still gonna be a dependable car. It's still gonna get its excellent fuel economy. This Camry still is extremely easy to drive and deal with on a daily basis. Parking this thing is easy. You know, driving this thing on the highway, this car is comfortable, quiet, and refined. Like, and with the radar cruise control, you really don't have to do much. All you gotta do is set that cruise control, and it will speed up and slow down as the traffic does, and that's pretty excellent. And honestly, from all the other mid-sized cars I've driven, because I've driven all of them. I've driven the Hyundai Sonata, Kia Optima, Ford Fusion, Nissan Altima, all the big players in the mid-sized sedan market, and now here in 2018, this Camry is the best. I know that's kind of I know that some people may disagree with me, but I think this Camry is the best. As for driving characteristics, as for looks, as for technology, as for price point, as what you're getting for the price, this Camry is one of the best out there. You know what, like, I'm gonna talk to you just personally, not talking about the car. I'm really just very blown away on how much different this car is than the previous one. Like I've said before, I've worked at a rental car company for 6 years now, and I've driven lots of generations of Toyota Camry and lots of other different mid-size sedans. And honestly, this new Camry feels almost Lexus-like. Like the way all the materials feel in this car, the way the windows roll up and kind of sail you from the outside, the way this thing handles around corners, the way this picks up and brakes and steers and everything like that, it just feels almost Lexus-like. This will be a great Lexus alternative. If you can't really afford a Lexus, I can honestly say, look at a Toyota Camry, because it's gonna be almost as good. From the time the Camry came out up until now, the Camry has just been a very boring, just practical, dependable, cookie cutter, mid-size sedan. I honestly can say now that this car it separates itself a lot from its other competition. It just does everything well. Like, I've done a bunch of stuff in this car. I've driven it hard. I've driven it on the highway. I've parked it in the city. I've commuted to work in this thing. I've commuted home. I've done all the normal tests of a mid-size sedan, and I gotta say, this Camry is probably one of the best I've driven. This car doesn't have start-stop technology, which I really like. This car gets good enough gas mileage and really doesn't need that. And I'm glad Toyota decided not to go this whole CVT route, because even though CVTs are very fuel efficient, they suck all the driving pleasure out of a car unless it's a Nissan and their CVT is probably one of the best on the market. But any other car, CVTs, don't do them. And I'm glad that Toyota adapted over this 8-speed transmission, because my honest opinion, I think this is probably a Lexus transmission, just based on the way it shifts, the way it's gearing, just the way it shifts, its gearing, the downshifting, the technology that learns the way you drive. Because I've been driving this car kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've been testing it out, put the Camry through its paces, and the transmission has learned that when I'm at a certain throttle position, I want to hold the gears a lot longer, and when I'm in the sport mode and braking, it downshifts for me. And you know, I don't ever remember a Camry ever doing that type of thing. So if you're looking for a stylish, fuel efficient, decently powered, very practical mid-size sedan, look no further than the 2018 Toyota Camry. Alright, if you like this video, hit me with a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and keep riding with me. Thanks for watching.